And done. There it is. The King of Anime Awards, Winter 2019. You know what this needs? This needs some glitter. Some glitter and glue. Let's glam it up, everybody. What? This is Lightning Returns!
All's fair in love and war, and for Kaguya Shinomiya, her goal is to win the war even if she loses the battle. Miyuki Shirogane has other plans though, and plans total domination and a swift victory. Together they wage a war of love against one another, not wanting to be the one who loses and has to confess. And with the help of their friends Chika Fujiwara and Yu Ishigami, they will use them as well to gain advantages in their battles. Who will win? This is Kaguya-Sama, Love is War. Kaguya-Sama Love is War is based off the manga of the same name by Aka Akasaka, I love saying that, and is a 12-episode anime available on Crunchyroll, Verve, Hulu, and Funimation now, and I must say, I love the trends of all of these animes showing up on a bunch of different services. It gives the viewers a choice. And it is directed by multiple different people, but the main director is Shinichi Omada, who has directed Grand Crest Senki, among other anime. Kaguya-Sama's story, at its most basic, is a normal high school romance between a boy and a girl. Kaguya like Miyuki, Miyuki likes Kaguya. But where this anime differs from others is that there is an added twist that makes this somewhat unique while still also being familiar. These two will wage a war of love against one another so that the other will be forced to confess. And think of each episode as a battle that by the end adds up to a great long war. In this sense, Kaguya-Sama is actually genius, as the high school romance genre has been beaten into a dead horse until the only thing left is flowers. And while I won't say it's revolutionary, because simply it's not, I felt somewhat refreshed watching this show. It didn't feel like it was just another rom-com or just another popular overrated anime like Zombieland Saga or Darling in the Franxx. To this show's credit, it doesn't veer off and panders to anyone. It knows what it is and it stays true to that. The story is interesting. I want to see Kaguya and Miyuki progress their relationship, and every time they do, it feels refreshing and satisfying from the viewer's perspective. And once again, to its credit, this show's writing and pacing realizes that the viewer has likely seen a million of these shows already, so they don't ham these moments up or overstay their welcome. It gets in and it gets out just like that as to not overwhelm you. Wham bam, thank you ma'am, as some people would say. And this is the biggest credit to the show's writing. It feels like it's cognizant of what the viewer's expectations are and feeds into them while also trying to subvert your expectations as to not feel generic. But while the show is good at this, I did also feel the first two episodes and the last two episodes were a great letdown in some respects. I think saying the first two episodes are sluggish and uninteresting isn't an unpopular opinion either, as I see on social media all the time and my Discord server that many people feel the same. But as for the last two episodes, it felt like they ran out of material and just kind of coasted to the end, which wasn't really an ending. And the fact that we spent 12 episodes with these characters, and not only that, but having 8 episodes in a row be that good and that funny to end the way that it did, well, it's frustrating because while I didn't demand the series end definitively at episode 12, I didn't want it to end with such a whimper either. I would have liked some kind of closure and recap of the show's themes and comedy, at least to get that sense of an ending. But there was just none of that, and I think at this point, I'm going to quote Arcada from Glass Reflections and say, the ending is paramount, because for a show like this, it absolutely is. To successively set yourself apart from generic anime and nail the writing and pacing and characters, and for it to just end the way it did, well, it takes a lot of steam out of an otherwise pretty good show. Typically in comedy anime, there are annoying, loud, and repulsive characters that you hate, or in rom-com anime, you don't like the main couple, or the characters have no depth. Kaguya-Sama avoids all of these common pitfalls of a rom-com set in high school. There is no annoying character in this anime. Miyuki is awesome. One of my favorite characters, and his relationship with Kaguya is a highlight of this show. And Kaguya as well is also very good. She's got a terrific personality that borders on yandere, and also emphasis on terrifying and terrific. And for the supporting cast, with Ishigami being surprisingly charming and downright hilarious serious, he really adds an important dynamic to this cast. And Chika, who probably isn't as good as either of those three characters in terms of writing, but in terms of sheer charisma and her airheaded, goofy personality, it will be just as memorable because, I mean, look at her. She's a big goof. Altogether, the cast is excellent, and there is no character I don't like in this show, and sometimes as well, you will get nice moments that really add some depth to the characters, which is both surprising for a show like this, and also simultaneously very welcoming as it's another thing that sets itself apart. Oh boy. The art here is absolutely stunning. A1 Pictures these days rarely disappoints, and if they do, it's likely because it's a B team working on a generic anime. But this show is obviously produced by their A team, as the visuals on display here are gorgeous. The backgrounds are just so damn good. Like, seriously, the backgrounds are one of the reasons this show is so distinctly its own thing. It's yet another example of how this show successfully sets itself apart. Tired of the high school setting and backgrounds? Well, guess what? This is set in a private school that looks nothing like those generic high school anime. Want colorful designs that don't hurt your eyes like quintessential quintuplets? This anime has that. It's colored very well. The backgrounds are just, in general though, simply awesome, and if you want to hear me talk more about that, I have a first impressions on this show where I talk about them more in depth. Link in the description. As for character designs, I mean, come on, y'all, they're awesome. Just take Miyuki as an example, who is one of the best designed characters in this show. His outfit is nice and sleek. It really makes him stand out as he has this larger than life feel to them, like he's really on point and serious about everything he does. He's an adult. Kaguya is nice as well. Her jelly-like red eyes really makes her stand out and gives the more relentless side of her personality that extra oomph, and her more real human side a nice twist. Plus her hair. Look at that hair. It's gorgeous. And Ishigami is the only one I feel is a letdown, but isn't bad by any means. And Chika she's Chika. Half of her character is based off her design, and the other half is her charisma. Just look into her eyes, but not too long because you may see something you don't want to. I can't stress how important the animation and A1 Pictures is to this anime. Animation is one aspect that, without it being this good, would result in the anime not being nearly as well received. The animation is integral to the identity here, with the expertly produced animated backgrounds with the use of such stunning visual effects like TV static as an example, and others that really liven up the feel of the show. Other examples is the use of the highly stylized animation during visual gags, which, well, I don't like the joke, but I'm going to use it as an example anyways because I think it's perfect, and that is Chika's tank class, I guess, in reference to her bust size. While it's a bad joke and creepy in general, it is the perfect example of why this show is so damn entertaining. They don't just tell you the joke and have a character repeat it 5 times by literally yelling it at you. They show you this joke while also telling you as to not overwhelm the viewer. This is why the show is so fresh and fun to watch. It's a good looking show with fluid animation and nice visual effects to keep the viewer engaged. Yeah, well, about the score, it's okay, not very impressive. It's not bad though, but I can't see myself liking the show for its score in any aspect. It's just a standard rom-com score, and this is easily where the show has its biggest flop. But then again, most of you won't care for the score in a rom-com anyways, is because, I mean, when are those good in rom-coms? Kaguya-Sama Love is War is the anime you didn't know was going to be this good, because while it was one of the most talked about adaptations before its release, was still an anime I think a lot of people didn't understand until they actually saw it. I myself was one of those people as I read the manga and dropped it after reading only 10 chapters. This show to me is much better as an anime because the animation and production make it so much more noteworthy than the manga ever did. This show is not going to be the best thing you'll ever see. And it is very overrated in almost every aspect, but isn't bad at all. It's one of the highlights and best anime of the season. So go out there and give it a shot to see if you like it. I give this anime a partial recommendation though, as not everyone will like it, but most will typically appreciate what's going on here. So with that being said, thanks everybody for watching this video. If you're new to the channel, click on some of these videos. Also make sure to subscribe and ring the bell. And if you want to, you can throw me $1 on Patreon to get early access to a bunch of stuff like OV Awful and other exclusive series. So with that being said, thanks for watching the video. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.